Muny, in Forest Park.
So give us a quick, you and I were chatting the other day, sort of we ran each other at Starbucks, exchanging stories, how did you get here?
Yeah.
And you kind of never intended to do this.
No, you know what? And that's kind of the amazing thing about life is that if you're meant to do something, and just when I got out, they pulled me back in. No, but I thought that I left Butler University, which is a fantastic school. Left it a couple of years early because I was wasting my parents' money, to be honest. So I thought I was going to stay out of performing, and I was working at Prudential Securities as an assistant to a broker there, and I kind of loved it. I'd worked at Charles Schwab during the summers in high school and college, and loved that world. And then my mom, who was an accountant, had kept getting me performing papers and stuff like that. And
Really?
yeah, I don't know why. And so I ended up auditioning for Phantom of the Opera in Chicago, and got called back, and then never heard anything. And then the same casting director called me up to Chicago again. I was from Indianapolis originally. Called me to Chicago again for Les Mis. I got a call back for Les Mis, and they flew me out to New York. And then I was working at the office one day, and they called and they said, "Look, we didn't test to see how high you can sing. We're going to put you on the phone with the music director in New York and see if you can hit this note. If you can hit this note, then we'll see what happens." So I had never hit this note in my life. So I said, "Oh, I got to go home." So I went home. I was on speakerphone with him at the Imperial Theater in New York at half hour before the show, and I had him on speakerphone, and because it was meant to be, hit the note twice, and 2 weeks later I was on the road with Les Mis.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah. So it's kind of one of those stories that you just wonder how did this happen?
But you've also, when you read your credits in your bio, you're one of the few performers who has gone into the world of opera and then musical theater. I mean, you sort of weave a real interesting line. How, as an opera performer, how does that form appeal to you? And
singing opera music is a direct link to your heart. And that's why it can still be done in foreign languages and be felt by an audience. Yes, translations help, but I think music sometimes doesn't need to go through the brain to be processed. And there are just some amazing tunes. There are just the power, the heightened state of emotion in opera can really just hit you in the core. And I enjoy that so much. But as far as performing, being on a stage, there's nothing like the camaraderie or the storytelling of musical theater. To me, it's just it bridges that gap between the super heightened state of what opera almost has to be to convey those huge emotions and what straight play does, because it kind of meets it somewhere in the middle. And I think that's an amazing place to be.
how is it singing the score to South Pacific, which you get through is arguably one of the greatest scores in the musical theater canon?
I tell you what, this part called the Twin Soliloquies in the beginning, and it's supposed to be Nellie and Emile kind of speaking their inner thoughts, and then it ends with this instrumental part where they come together. And I don't want to give too much away, but it just I can't help but my heart just leaps up into my throat when I hear it. And I'm so excited for the Muny audiences to experience that, because there's, like I said, music sometimes just doesn't go through the brain. It goes right into your heart, and Rodgers and Hammerstein just knew how to do that. There are very few people, very few composers who can do that. Some are very cerebral composers, and that's fine too, but this music just hits you like a Mack truck.